In this video, we will discuss registration, what to expect in the days prior to annual conference, what to expect during annual conference, and finally, number 4, what you will need for annual conference. Before we get to all those items, a little background that's always worth repeating. As you know, because of social distancing and many of the unknowns that we're currently facing concerning COVID-19, Annual Conference 2020 has been rescheduled for Saturday, November 21st on Zoom from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, to help us with this effort, we're working with Good News TV. You'll hear their name a lot in this video. They are a multimedia communications group that has helped with multiple annual conferences across the denomination with other online annual conference sessions. So we're pleased to be working with them. You'll need to familiarize yourself with Good News TV as they'll be sending you very important emails. We'll have more on that coming up. All right, let's get to the content of this presentation, shall we? First, registration. Registration is open. You can register by heading to the annual conference page on our website. Now, it's important to note that the only people who need to register are those who are delegates to annual conference. When you do so, we'll ask a series of questions. One of them is whether you have technical issues or need technical assistance. We're standing by to offer ways to help if there are indeed technical challenges out there. We'll also be asking for offerings to be collected electronically. Of course, you can choose not to give electronically, but the options are there during your registration. If you are a guest or just want to watch annual conference, there is no need to register. You can simply watch annual conference live on our Facebook page. Now, registration is just the first step in the process of readying yourself for annual conference. And that gets us to the second part of our presentation, what to expect in the days prior to annual conference. First, after you register, you'll receive an email that will contain a link to the pre-conference report. It's also found on our website. You'll also receive a link to the annual conference webpage, where there is a ton of information, including frequently asked questions for your review. If you are a delegate, there are 2 important pieces of information you will need and need to be on the lookout for: the Zoom webinar link and your voting credentials. Annual conference, and for that matter, the clergy session the week prior to, will be a Zoom webinar. So you'll need a link to access the webinar. That link will arrive in your inbox in an email from Good News TV. So be on the lookout for that in the days just before annual conference. If you're a delegate and you're allowed to vote, you'll also receive an email from Good News TV with your voting credentials. We will not be voting through the polling feature of Zoom or through chat or through a show of hands on Zoom. It will all be done on a secured website, and you'll need voting credentials. Again, these credentials will come from our partners at Good News TV. This email will not come from the conference office, so please write down this email address and save it, as you're going to want to make sure that these emails do not go to your junk folder. Another thing to expect in the days prior to annual conference: training. There will be multiple online trainings for you to attend. These trainings will be hosted by Good News TV, and they're designed to help all of us become familiar with a Zoom webinar, which is different from a Zoom call. You'll also learn and practice how to vote. These trainings are going to be super helpful, and you can attend as many as you need to. If you are a delegate, you're encouraged to attend. The training sessions are listed on the screen. They're also on the website, so mark your calendar. There are several different times to help accommodate as many as possible. Also, in the days prior to annual conference, as is usually the case, now is the time to read and become familiar with the pre-conference report. For the first time, the pre-conference report is now available in digital format on the website. We hope you find this new format a bit easier to read and navigate, but know that it's also available in its traditional format, a downloadable PDF. Now to what will happen during annual conference. First, our time together will begin promptly at 9 a.m., but there will be pre-conference music in the minutes leading to the start of our meeting. This music, along with the opening worship time, will be led by Reverend DeAndre Johnson, who has been guiding us the last few years. We encourage you to join the call early for some wonderful time together. We'll get started around 8:45 a.m., so feel free to join whenever you can. Our time together will open with worship. And we are super excited to share this unique form of worship with you. The design team has been working very hard on making all of the worship moments during annual conference to be as meaningful and as powerful as they can be in this Zoom format. You'll also find that during annual conference, we will have a focused agenda, one that will cover what we need to cover. The agenda is also found on the website. We hope to finish our time together by 1 p.m. Also, during annual conference, delegates will be asked to vote. Now, earlier in the presentation, we mentioned that delegates will receive their voting credentials in an email from Good News TV. Once you have those credentials, you'll head to a website to vote. Now, if you were logged in on a desktop computer, you would simply open your browser to vote. If you're joining on phone, you'll do the same thing. Head to a web page to vote. You'll learn much more about how to vote during the training sessions that we mentioned earlier. We promise, it's easy. Now for what you will need during annual conference. Obviously, you're going to need your computer, but we also are inviting you to have several different items with you. Bishop Cynthia Fierro Harvey and the design team are inviting all of us to make our space sacred. So settle in by your computer or your phone or your tablet and have with you a small bowl of water nearby, water to remind you of your baptism. Next to it, a lit candle reminding you of the light of Christ. We're also asking everyone to have a stone nearby, a small stone that you can hold in your hand. This stone will be used during the worship service and throughout annual conference. It will also help make our time feel a bit interactive, and the physical act of making our spaces sacred will add to what we hope will be time well spent. All focused together on our 3-year theme of making disciples for the transformation of the world, together in love, day after day.